What is going on, guys? Took another break from Battlefield 3. I'm impressed with myself. I'm gonna bring you another tech video. Today we are doing the Smart Parts Vertical Max-Flo regulator for the Impulse. Now this is far different than the Vertical Max-Flo that comes on the Shocker. A little bit more old school, a little bit more pieces involved, but still it's pretty simple once you actually break it down. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. First off, this regulator is split into two main groups. You've got the output group and the input group. And the input group is going to be this top section of the regulator. The output group is going to be the bottom. Obviously, this is the reg body. So first of all, we're just going to take everything out. And then as we go, I'll explain that you actually need to do the service and put in the input group first before you put the output group in. That's the way the regulator is designed. So let's go ahead and just start taking off the adjustment cap. Oops, didn't mean to have that up. And with the adjustment cap, all the output group internals are going to come out. So if you do look at this, you've got a couple things down in here. You've got this kind of cookie brass disc looking thing. It's called a filter. This Durlin or plastic piece is the bumper for the spring. Then obviously you've got the spring itself. And then this big black piece is the spring guide, and the silver pin that's in the middle, if you just kind of shake it out, inside is the spring guide pin. So we'll go ahead and put all those over there with the cap itself over there. And you'll see this brass piston that's sitting down in here, and it's got two holes on the side, and you're going to need to take that out. So either use a O-ring pick, a small Allen, or if you can get it with your fingernails, do that. But that brass piston just comes right out. It's just an O-ring that's hermetically sealed in there. So put that aside, and now we're going to take out the input stage of the regulator. So we're just going to go ahead and take off this locking collar. Put that aside. And there are two retaining screws in here for this ASA adapter, and they are a 3/32 screw. So just go ahead and take those out. Alright, now you need to get this ASA collar out. I'm using an adjustable wrench. If you wanted to use, if you have size wrenches, I believe, let me check real quick. It is, the size on that is a 7/8 wrench. So 7/8 wrench or adjustable wrench, whatever you guys got. Just go ahead and give that a good turn. And then after that it should come out with no problem. Alrighty, there's the ASA. And now if you tip the reg upside down, I'm going to leave the macro line facing down the way it should be, just this, so if you guys are watching, know which way is up and which way is down. So if you tip the reg upside down, all the input internals are going to come out. Give it a good pop. So there's all the input internals. Now if you look down inside there, you may have an O-ring come out, and it would be sitting right here on the end of the poppet, or you may not. It's called the base seat O-ring, and it's sitting way down inside the regulator. It's actually better if it doesn't come out, unless you know it needs to be replaced, because if you do take it out and it does get a scratch, you will have to replace it. So this time this one stayed in, so I'm just going to leave it in. We'll put the reg body over to the side, and now we have the input group. And so we've got that. Everything's falling apart here. Alrighty, input group. So as we take this all apart, we have this piece at the end, just called the base seat. And this is actually an assembled piece. There's multiple pieces in here. So if you guys can see it, this is the base seat. It has a flat end with an opening, and then it has, on the other side you can see it's flat and then it tapers in a little bit. And you can actually see an O-ring inside there. Well, the base seat actually comes apart if you can get your fingernails or a dental pick or something like that. It actually comes apart into individual pieces. Now the large piece at the back with the tapered end is called the seat cap. The O-ring inside it is the inner seal. The top piece is that the O-ring is on that I just got off there. The top piece with the flat disc with the slightly protruding circle in the center, that's called the seat. And then that O-ring that's still down inside the body is called the outer seal. So that's the base seat, and then obviously we have the poppet and poppet spring. And then we have the spring retainer, and this little mesh deal that's around it is just a filter. It's not necessary, but this one's on, so I'm gonna leave it on. It's not killing the gun while it's on. Anyway, all right. After this, maintenance is pretty simple. You're gonna go through this the input guide, and you're going to take everything off. There shouldn't be any grease on it, any grease at all, dirt, debris, anything like that. Make sure it's all clean. So take this, get that off. Make sure that's clean. Now, as well as cleaning the input group, you're going to want to go down inside the body and clean out the space, the cavity where the input group is sitting, with a cloth if you can get it down there, a Q-tip. Just make sure, again, you're not leaving fibers, anything like that. But that needs to be very clean. So we get that. Make sure the poppet and poppet spring are clean. And the base seat, make sure that's clean. Alrighty. So at this point we can actually start reassembling this and put this all back in the regulator. So go ahead and assemble that input pressure guide. And you can take this whole guide right here and take the body and just go ahead and, oh, there's a hair on there. That's better. And go ahead, and I like to just tip the body upside down so you can get it in there, and then make sure that's seated right. Alrighty, now we're just going to go ahead and take this seal up here, and I'm going to use Shocker Lube. It's a Dow 33. Feel free to use Sleek. I like this the Shocker Lube because it's a little more viscous than the Sleek. So we're just going to go ahead and take a tiny amount of that and put that on the inner and outer O-ring on this seal. Alright, just a tad bit more on that side. Alright, so we can go ahead and drop this back in with the little pointed extender piece facing up towards you, and just kind of push that down in there into place, and then you can go ahead and clean the ASA adapter off of any extra grease, and then you're just going to want to re-grease the that O-ring that's sitting there, and you can put a decent amount on this. You're never gonna over grease this one. And you can go ahead and put that ASA adapter right back on the top of the body. Give it a quick tighten down with the wrench, and put those retaining screws back in. Alright, put that collar back on. Alright, now to the output side. Alright, take the output side, and for everything except for the piston here, this all needs to be just very much cleaned and hollowed out. So after everything is clean, you can just go ahead and put it back together the way you had it. Put the filter in, put the bumper in, the spring, spring guide, and the spring guide pin. If you took the spring guide pin out, there's two different ends to this spring guide pin. I don't know if you can see that. One is just rounded, and that's the one I'm facing towards the camera right now. The other end is slightly tapered, and then it slopes off into a straight angle. And that one that's tapered and then slopes off into a straight piece is the one that goes facing down. So you can take that and then just take the piston, put a little bit of grease on that O-ring. Again, this one can do with a little bit extra grease. And you're not going to over grease this one by any means. Alright, so just take the piston, turn the rig upside down, take the piston and pop it back in, and have that small hat piece facing out just like that. And then go ahead and just pop it down in there. Take the adjustment cap and twist it back on. And there you have it, that's it. Again, with the adjustment cap, the way you adjust the velocity with this is the more you twist out, and the less pressure there is. The more you twist in, the more pressure it is. So after you do this maintenance and you put it back on your gun, I recommend twisting it out quite a bit, just so you're not overpressuring your gun and blowing a solenoid, nothing like that. But that's it. Nice, easy, quick maintenance. Hope it helped. Thanks for watching.